Okay, believe we are live. Hey everyone, it is Mo from Quality Shot here with you. Um, yeah, so obviously I'm going to be covering the Sunny Edwards Mohammed Wasim fight that is happening, I believe, in the UAE. And obviously there's a bunch of undercards to roll through as well. I think the fight that has just finished looks like the Ionita McGrail fight on the undercard. I think um, looks like McGrail won by TKO, I believe. So we'll be moving on to the next undercard um, shortly, and then I guess we're just going to work through the undercards basically until we eventually get to the main fight. Hello, Adil. Nice to see you once again. So you're asking um, is the fight in the UK? So I think it's not in the UK. My understanding is that this fight is in Dubai, from what I can tell. So they're fighting in Dubai, um, at the, unless I'm mistaken, looking at BoxRec, it says Duty Free Tennis Stadium, Dubai, UAE. So maybe they're fighting there. I imagine. I think that's decent from a timing perspective as well for people in the UK. I think the main fight should be at a reasonable time, which is always good. Um, so hopefully we're going to be expecting some nice boxing fights to watch. I look forward to trying to cover them as best as I can. Um, right now, it just looks like McGrail is getting an interview with respect to his fight. So I'll leave that interview for now and focus more on going through the cards, I guess. Usman, I'm sorry we can't provide links on Quality Shot because YouTube will come after us, and I'm trying to keep the space nice and clean for the gaffer Fazan who runs the channel. So yeah, you won't be finding links unfortunately, but as always, if you're seeking, you shall find. But unfortunately, you won't be receiving it from me. But I think there's easy ways. um, so yeah, we're gonna be moving on to the next undercard. I'm just gonna cover the cam and mute myself for 1 minute. I will be back. Someone's at the door. I will be back shortly, but there's no fights currently. We'll move on to the next undercard soon. Right, sorry about that, everyone. I am back. Let's see if the next fight has begun yet. No, we're in the advertisement, um, the advertisement section of the interim between this undercard and the next undercard fight. I might as well roll through the lineups though of the various fights that are happening this evening. So, I mean, looking at BoxRec, which hopefully is more accurate than some of the news media that's available, because some of them are actually quite outdated. Um, they seem to have listed certain fights that actually are not happening, or which involve replaced opponents. So let me just go through the fights as they're presented on BoxRec. So, well, there's quite a lot of them. I might as well pick out the ones that look the largest, I guess. And I'm hoping these are actually the fights that we'll be seeing. I'm assuming BoxRec is going to be accurate. So, Peter McGrail, Alexandru Ionita, which we already saw, or which at least was finishing at the time that I actually started this stream. So it looks like McGrail, I think, won by TKO in that fight. Let's see how quick BoxRec is at actually updating things. No, it looks like they haven't actually updated it, so never mind. In terms of the result, there's other fights. So it looks like we've got Fazan Anwar versus Hoji Yakbar Kodirokumnov, which is sounds like an interesting matchup. I've not seen these fighters before. Fazan Anwar is a Indian fighter, which is very interesting. Looks like he's the second best Indian welterweight, going up against the opponent that I referenced earlier, and the opponent that I referenced earlier is from Uzbekistan. Interesting. I think this is I might as well make a comment about how it's exciting to have fights being hosted in Dubai, and maybe part of the appeal of these fights being hosted in Dubai is the fact that maybe they give a bit more exposure to fighters in, for example, the South Asian continent or the kind of Central Asian continent, especially those that are kind of up and coming. Obviously, if you were like a very well known fighter that was not up and coming, then you'd have a more global stage anyway. You'd probably fight in America or the UK and so on. But I think it's interesting that Dubai is hosting this main fight, and they're trying to showcase fighters across the South Asian and Central Asian regions generally. I think that's obviously because the main fight, I guess, is the fight between Sunny Edwards and Muhammad Wasim, with Muhammad Wasim being a fighter hailing out of Pakistan. And you don't really get too many fighters hailing out of Pakistan. Obviously, we know about Amir Khan, who is a ethnically Pakistani fighter, but he's not from Pakistan from a nationality point of view. He's British as far as I'm aware, and so it's interesting to be getting fighters that are actually from these types of countries fighting, and I think that's nice for boxing anyway because it just makes things more global. Just checking my stream right now to see if anything's going to be showing up fight wise, but currently there's just a little interview going on, so I'll just ignore that for a little while until we actually get into a fight. I'm watching this on Eurosport 2 through Sky Go, for those of you who are interested in figuring out how I'm actually watching this fight. So yeah, let's go back to the card again. As I suggested, there's a fight between Fazan Anwar and Koji Akbar Kodirokunov. And there's another fight. This one's at super lightweight, which we should be expecting, hopefully, between Hovhannes Bachkov and Christian Rafael Correa, unless that fight's already happened. We'll see. But that's another fight that we're expecting. Bachkov looks like he's from Armenia, interestingly. And then his opponent is from, let's see, Argentina. And he seems quite well known. He's got a pretty good record. So that should be an interesting fight to watch. TJ Doheny versus Cesar Juarez. That's another fight that should be coming up. And then Regis Prograis versus Tyrone McKenna. Hopefully should be another fight. Now, I think Prograis recently was in a fight with Anthony, unless I'm getting it wrong. I'm pretty sure Prograis was in a fight at some point with Josh Taylor. but that was yeah. I mean, that was a couple of years ago. To be fair, I mean, since that he's fought Juan Heraldez, Ivan Redkach. Fine. I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this undercard goes. It'll be it'll be interesting. I think there's quite a few quality fighters on this, and then there's some fighters who are slightly less well known. But we'll see how it goes really. I'm just going to check the stream again. It's just showing an interview. This might be a drawn out one at points. Depends how long it's going to be stretched out from undercard to undercard. But I think because the current undercard basically the previous undercard that just finished in terms of that fight, I think it was an early round stoppage. As a result of that, there's probably a longer break, I guess, until the next round of fighters come out. I'm just going to roll through some of the comments. Adil says, anybody watching this fight in Pakistan, it's on PTV Sports and Sports HD, ATV Sports HD. Okay, that's helpful to know for those of you who might be tuning in from the homeland of Mohammed Wasim. Some of those channels I recognize. Quality Shot themselves coming in with a with a comment. That must be Fazan saying that he actually interviewed McKenna a few times. So do check it out if you are interested in checking out those interviews. And yeah, Prograis, lost a split decision to Taylor. Yeah, I do recall Prograis did fight Taylor at some point, and from what BoxRec suggested, I think it was in 2019, so a while back. Oh, looks like the Batchkov fight did conclude, by the way. So I mean, that's the thing. It'd be helpful if BoxRec or there was some sort of page that you could go to that was a bit more updated with kind of telling you whether a fight's actually happened or not. Because sometimes a lot of people they join a boxing fight to watch and they realize that the undercards that they were interested in watching have already concluded, for example. So it'd be nice if that existed. Because it looks like BoxRec isn't really updating that quickly. But it looks like the Bachkov fight already happened, so I might just check the profile and see if it's updated on there. And it just says, yeah, it doesn't. It's not actually updated so far. But I'll pull those results out if anyone actually wants to know the results of the fights that have already happened. Thank you for the encouragement, much appreciated. And we got another comment from Adil coming in. Any interviews with Pakistani-based fighters on CH? Oh, are you asking if there's any interviews with Pakistani-based fighters on our channel, or are you referring to something else? Adil, apologies. Do let me know if what you're asking, and I'll try and give you a response on that. Now I think this might be the Prograis fight that's coming up right now. If it is, that should be a very interesting fight to watch. So let's see. And yeah, Adil, if you were asking about whether there are any interviews with any Pakistani-based fighters, looks like Fazan's responded to you, which is that we may. It would be super cool to get Mohammed Wasim on, but currently we don't have any on the channel. Yeah, looks like there's a guy with a robe on that says War McKenna on it, who's about to walk into the ring. So this to me suggests there is the Prograis McKenna fight is about to commence. So let's go through the Prograis McKenna fight together as we move towards all the different cards here. I'm just gonna write Prograis v McKenna on my little I might actually just write it down on a notepad. I found that when you're scoring fights, it's probably easier to do on the notepad, to be honest, rather than on Microsoft Words, so that I can actually watch the whole fight instead of switch tabs. So yeah, it looks like McKenna's just come into the ring. Let's go through their statistics in terms of their fighting records on BoxRec. It should hopefully be quite a interesting, balanced fight to watch. So Prograis, 26 wins, 22 by way of knockout, which is super high, to be honest. It's a really good knockout percentage ratio. It looks like his KO percentage ratio is 81.48%. Only one loss, and obviously that one loss is to Josh Taylor, so that's hardly anything to be upset about. That's a super, super tough competitor. Although obviously, that's notwithstanding the controversy of his his last fight. And he's going up against McKenna, who is definitely ready for war. Although a slightly, I guess, slightly worse record, but nevertheless quite a solid boxing record that McKenna has. I think on the basis of looking at simply on odds basis, you'd probably suggest that Prograis is going to have a better chance, but that would be a very simple way of the fight. But McKenna's got 22 wins, 6 by knockout, 2 losses, so not a very high knockout percentage ratio. And let's see, his 2 losses were by unanimous decision and also MD as well. So it looks like he's never been knocked out, which is interesting. Because on the one hand, you've got a guy who's got quite a good knockout percentage ratio. By the way, Prograis looks really interesting with a little kind of, looks like he's got a war mask on, which is pretty cool, I guess. And he's entered the ring now. You got a fighter with a really good knockout ratio, very solid record. He's only lost to Taylor, which is hardly very much. To kind of that's not a bad thing at all. I mean, it's such a great fight, Taylor. So, and then he's going up against a guy who's got a slightly worse record, but only has 2 losses, and those 2 losses went by way of knockout. So he probably has quite a decent chin, I'd imagine, because he's not really lost by way of KO before. So, maybe if McKenna kind of deal with the power punches that are coming from Prograis, maybe he'll be able to. We'll see this fight goes. It'll be an interesting one. It's a fight that they're fighting, I believe. 139 and 3/4 pounds. So, it should be at super light. Are they fighting for any belts? No, don't believe they are. Anyway, Prograis v McKenna. It's about to start shortly. Let's go through it. Let's see how it goes round by round. Both fighters looking pretty fit, but of course they should be. They probably respect each other quite a lot. Pretty decent records. These aren't any bums off the street. These are proper professional fighters. so you have to train hard. 3 judges, 1 from the US, 1 from the UK, 1 from Hungary. Fair. And I believe, it must be is it a 10 or a 12? It's a 10. It's a 10 round fight. Interesting. Right, so my initial prediction, simply on this basis, is Prograis in this fight, but I'm usually proven wrong anyway. So let's just see how the fight actually progresses. Predictions sometimes don't work out. Styles make fights, etc., etc. I do have to say, I think McKenna's got a pretty decent height advantage. I mean, yeah, McKenna's at 6'1", and Prograis is 5'8". So McKenna with a probably with a much better reach stake, and I think McKenna. isn't he? And yeah, Prograis from the US. Yeah, so I mean, it'll be interesting to watch this fight. I mean, what do you guys think? Who's going to win this one? If you are watching it, I think it is an interesting factor to take into consideration that McKenna's got quite a bit of a height advantage. To see if he can use his reach, because that might be a big factor for him in terms of trying to win the fight. And let's see how good Prograis is deal with that reach and height advantage, where he's be good at fighting on the inside, for example. Harry is power quickly. So let's get into this fight. Fighters getting into their corners. It's a 10-round fight, and they're off. So yeah, McKenna's just taking the center of the ring right now. Coming out quite aggressively through a 1-2 there. Although Prograis looks quite unaffected. Oh yeah, guys, yeah, do please consider liking and subscribing. It always helps the channel to grow. Yeah, I mean, Prograis looking very comfortable in there, to be honest. Although McKenna certainly seems to be trying to put Prograis on the back foot. Prograis coming back with a double jab. I think the height advantage of McKenna is really visible here. Both fighters kind of tying themselves up, but McKenna trying to land a 1-2 off the clinch. Both fighters just in the center of the ring, still eyeing each other up, probably trying to get their distance. Not very much activity right now, just a lot of feints. Yeah, a significant amount of feinting. Not really much between them. Although McKenna trying to land a few heavy shots, although mostly getting blocked by Prograis' gloves. And Prograis trying to come forward with a 1-2, but McKenna doing a decent job keeping his gloves up. I think Prograis did manage to break through on one occasion. Prograis again trying to land that overhand left. Doesn't really seem to have affected McKenna. Prograis trying to go to the body. Oh, pretty decent left thrown by Prograis there, and McKenna just smiles at him. Can't imagine it's done too much damage though, given how early these fighters are into this fight. Looks like Prograis maybe having the better of landing the heavier punches so far, but this doesn't seem to come across as an immediate domination in the first round. I think it's still even Stevens for the most part. Oh! So Prograis trying to throw a left, missed really well, and then followed up with a right, which did connect, and it looked quite eye-catching, to be honest. McKenna looking relatively calm out there, but incredibly focused. Maybe those initial heavier shots that he just took from Prograis has kind of gotten him more into the zone. Prograis looking very relaxed in there, to be honest. Doing a good job of bobbing and weaving and then trying to throw overhand rights and lefts, trying to neutralize the reach and height advantage that McKenna has. That's the end of the first round. I'm going to give that round to Prograis. So it's a 10-9 to me, to Prograis up by 1. I mean, summary of that first round. I mean, it was relatively even to begin with. I think McKenna came out quite aggressively, tried to assert his dominance. I don't think Prograis really minded too much. Seemed quite relaxed in there, and then Prograis, for the most part, had some pretty good success, bobbing and weaving through, trying to get closer to McKenna, and then following up with some overhand lefts and rights, which were quite effective at points. And it looks like that height advantage is not necessarily assisting McKenna as much as perhaps I thought it would. Although coming into this second round, McKenna kind of jigging around in front of Prograis to maybe indicate that he's relaxed and enjoying himself. Fine. But oh my God, McKenna already hitting the canvas after a really hard left thrown by Prograis, and McKenna laughing and commending Prograis on his power, but you can't laugh that up. You can't laugh that off. He's already been knocked down. McKenna up again. 2 minutes 30 of this second round. I think Prograis might even try and finish it right now and go in for the kill. Oh my God, McKenna is holding on to Prograis for dear life, and he's trying to break through. Oh my, Prograis coming forward though. McKenna against the back of the ropes. Prograis going to the body, following up with a left. Prograis going through all the gears right now. I think he wants to get McKenna out immediately. McKenna ideally should probably try and hold, which is what he's trying to do right now, but Prograis trying to break off the clinch. There's 2 minutes left of this second round. Really, really bad round for McKenna right now. He really needs to keep Prograis away, clinch, and stay calm, I guess. He doesn't want to get hit with any other heavier shots. He's probably still trying to recoil from that first knockdown. 1 minute 40 left, and McKenna going for the absolute aggressive option, trying to throw 1-2, but Prograis just meeting him back with his own. McKenna going for the clinch now. Prograis managing to break off. Prograis just really heavy hook that he's just thrown. McKenna's taken a real beating in this round, unfortunately for him. Or Prograis with an uppercut followed by a left hook. Prograis with another uppercut. A lot of his punches are starting to land now, and I think McKenna's guard is really starting to get impacted. Prograis with a left hook, and McKenna trying to come back with his own left hook, but really ineffective compared to what Prograis managed to do in this second round. Looks like Prograis maybe stepped off the gas a little. It looked like he was going for the kill, but with 30 seconds left of this second round, he seems to be taking his time a bit more and poking McKenna, trying to pick his punches. McKenna doesn't look too shaky. I mean, you know, he's okay. He's still in the fight. I think Prograis maybe recognized that he ain't going to get this guy out in this second round, but a really good round for him as we move into the last few seconds of this second round. And that's the end of that second round. McKenna's smiling as he makes his way back to the corner, but I don't think there's very much to smile about. 10-8 round to Prograis. Prograis up by 3 as we move on to the third round. What do you guys think of this fight so far? I think that I was just checking that my headphone was working. It just seemed to automatically turn off. I think that if there's any indication, then yeah, I mean, I'm sure Prograis will probably finish this fight off in the next few rounds. It looks like McKenna's having real issues trying to protect himself from these stiff, heavy-handed punches that Prograis is throwing across. And the thing is, Prograis is starting to throw in combinations already, a lot of 1-2s, and he's doing a good job with throwing the overhand punches and going in with the hooks in particular. He's had real success just trying to throw those combinations together. So I can't really think of what McKenna's going to be able to do to deal with this as we move into the third round. Prograis now just stalking McKenna. Both fighters in the center of the ring. McKenna trying to throw some jabs, but really out of reach. Prograis trying to throw some. Oh, he's got McKenna against the ropes, but McKenna's just managed to escape. But it's very interesting to see how Prograis can switch on within a second and just start throwing vicious combinations to the body and uppercuts. and yet looks so calm and relaxed afterwards. So yeah, I think this fight is very much in Prograis' hands right now, and he looks very, very confident and relaxed in there. Prograis just trying to get McKenna against the ropes, I guess, to cut the distance, and then he's going to unleash. McKenna trying to throw and kind of wildly missing. Again, McKenna just trying to throw a jab. He's out of reach, but he's fighting on the back foot. Prograis throwing a few hooks, some of them landing, some of them McKenna skillfully managing to move out of the way of. Ooh, Prograis with a pretty decent overhand left that does connect. McKenna against the ropes. Prograis is just throwing punches in bunches right now. Going to the body. McKenna clinching Prograis. Referee stepping in to break the two fighters. Less than a minute left this third round. And yeah, Prograis just looking ridiculously relaxed. I think Prograis knows that he's probably got this fight in in hand. He's just waiting for the moment to deliver the final blow. I assume that's what's going through his mind. McKenna still staying relatively alert, but I wonder what McKenna's going to be able to produce to try and turn this fight around, because it's looking pretty one-sided at this point. Prograis with a strong shot to the body. McKenna trying to throw a few jabs, but Prograis keeping his gloves nice and high, blocking those punches. And there's blood streaming down McKenna's face. And the end of the third round there. Referee steps in to stop the two fighters. So slight cut under McKenna's left eye. Otherwise, his face doesn't look too bloody, to be honest. That third round, I'm going to give that 10-9 round to Prograis. So Prograis up by 3. On my scorecard, so actually, let me check. 3, 4. No, Prograis up by 4 actually because of the knockdown in the second round. So I mean, so far it's looking like a very what's this? Referee having a chat with McKenna in the corner. I'm just going to turn the sound up. He's taking quite a long time. It looks like the medical staff are looking at McKenna to check him. Prograis getting a bit annoyed that McKenna's been taking so long to get back into the ring. We're moving into the fourth round. Again, Prograis just stalking McKenna around. I think he must think it's just a matter of time now. Ooh, Prograis with a left. Ooh, McKenna throwing a bunch of combinations, but unfortunately none of them really connecting. But I think going for broke potentially. McKenna. He just signals Prograis to come in and try and come at him. I think McKenna's kind of thrown the plan out of the window, and he's kind of adopted a aggressive stance and is starting to stalk Prograis. Prograis seems comfortable with that. Oh, McKenna walking into an uppercut, and the right eye of McKenna really starting to bleed. McKenna with quite an impressive heart there. You know, he's happy to go into a war, and that's exactly what's happening right now. But it looks like Prograis is winning most of those exchanges, fighting quite intelligently, and Prograis ripping a uppercut into McKenna's face and being met with a blood splatter on his own that belongs to McKenna. Yeah, McKenna's face looking pretty bloody right now. I think the medical staff might actually. Well, it's interesting that the medical staff were viewing McKenna just before this fourth round began. To be honest, if they've been monitoring him quite closely, then mean, he's looking even worse now, so it'd be interesting to see if the medical staff actually decide that the fight shouldn't continue. 1 minute left of this fourth round. And Prograis just landing some very good combinations, looking super relaxed, taking his time. McKenna just, again, trying to bring Prograis in, trying to ask him to come into a war with him, but I mean, Prograis just doing his own thing, to be honest. It's a pretty one-sided fight. And again, Prograis just allowing McKenna to come in and try and stalk him a bit. McKenna's maybe quite glad that he hasn't gone down yet. And he's actually starting to taunt Prograis. That's the end of that fourth round, and McKenna is just kind of taunting Prograis, basically. Again, I'm not entirely sure whether that really means anything, because he's definitely losing the fight. And that's the end of the fourth round. I've got Prograis up by 5. Yeah, unfortunately, I was hoping that this would be a relatively even-handed fight, but it hasn't been. It's very, very, very one-sided. Adil asking, what time is the ring walk for the Edwards Wasim fight? Well, I think like all these fights, they're usually delayed. To be honest, so who really knows? But if I try and search what time the main fight is, I mean, let's see what they spit back. The main card will begin from, just trying to check. I would hope that. I don't know. I think it's probably going to be within the next 2 hours, but I'll have another quick check, Adil, after this particular fight, because it looks like the 5th round is back up, and I'll come back with a more specific response. But I assume it's going to be within the next 2 hours. I mean, that's what I'm expecting. But that's that's a very vague answer, so I'll come back with a much more clear one soon. But even if there was a clear one on like on the news media, it's never clear with boxing. Like they never come out at the right time. McKenna just coming out with a bit more aggression. I think McKenna's realized that he's not going to win this fight on points, and he's only going to. Oh snap! Really nice left hook thrown by McKenna. He's actually landed some heavy shots, and he's beckoning Prograis to come in and try and throw something at him. And I mean, this can't have been McKenna's strategy, but McKenna's just shown a lot more life in this 5th round, to be perfectly honest. But what I was going to say is that it looks like McKenna's realized that he's not going to win this fight on points, and I think he's going for the knockout or he's going to get knocked out. So it looks like that's what the strategy he's decided to adopt. He's getting quite low, keeping his gloves up, and trying to throw some combinations of himself. But Prograis, again, looking very relaxed in there, using the jab very effectively, trying to break through McKenna's guard. But what I'm finding interesting is how much more McKenna seems to be thrown back in this round, which is a good sign for him. And McKenna throwing an uppercut just now. Prograis just poking McKenna with the right hand through his guard. Or Prograis with a beautiful combination that seemed to break through the guard of McKenna again. A lot of energy's been spent by McKenna in this 5th round, and although he did throw some nice eye-catching punches, you wonder if it's had any real impact on Prograis, who looks very calm out there and otherwise very much unfazed. But very nice left hook and followed by a right hook by McKenna. He's had some success, but there is definitely two-way traffic there. There's a lot of punches coming back at him. This has been probably one of the closest rounds of the fight, this 5th round. and the referee stepping in to break the two fighters up after a clinch, and that's the end of the 5th round. You know what? I'll give that round to McKenna. I have to be decisive with these things, so I'm going to give that round to McKenna. So I've actually got Prograis up by 4 as we move into 6th round. So better from McKenna, but you know how much more energy he's going to have. He had a good job. He did a good job throwing a nice nice amount of hooks in that one. Did a good job keeping his guard up, beckoning Prograis to come in. But then Prograis doing a very good job himself with the combinations, breaking through the guard of McKenna. So you know, McKenna's got a massive heart. Looks like he's happy to engage in a war. It looks like that's the only thing that he could really do because it's highly unlikely he's going to win this fight on points. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next few rounds and to see whether Prograis manages to knock McKenna out because McKenna will gas himself out, or whether McKenna somehow will deliver a bit of a shock victory through a knockout of his own. But with a low knockout percentage, I don't think that's very likely for McKenna. But we'll see. 6th round is on the way now. And yeah, McKenna deciding to again just be the aggressor in this round, coming forward, trying to stalk Prograis. I think although Prograis is comfortable fighting on the back foot, he probably prefers being the aggressor himself, I think. And so I think there is a benefit to McKenna coming forward as he is, so long as McKenna doesn't open himself up to punches on the way in, which is seemingly the case. From what I'm looking at right now, I mean McKenna is trying to close the distance, but Prograis managing to clip him quite a few times as he comes in. And now Prograis coming forward, vicious shots to the body, followed by one upstairs. McKenna's face incredibly bloody right now. His right eye seems to be bleeding quite heavily. He seems to have a cut around his right eye. Oh, a very solid right hook, I believe, thrown by Prograis, which definitely caused McKenna to buckle up a bit. And the referee stopping it initially for the medical assistant to take a look at McKenna's face. McKenna is looking very, very bloody. Medical assistant just making an assessment to see whether the fight should be stopped or not. I think he'll probably say yes. And he does say yes. Well, the fight has been stopped. The medical examiners decided that the eye is much too bloody due to a cut under McKenna's right eye. Really good performance by Prograis there, and both fighters exchanging good words post-fight. Looks like they're on pretty decent terms, and McKenna looking quite upset, which is obviously understandable. Prograis with a very, very solid victory there. Looks like he's won this fight in the 6th round, I believe it is. Yeah, medical examiners decided that the fight can't continue further due to the damage that Prograis caused. Yeah, I'm impressed by Prograis. It was a good fight for him. I expected it to be a more even-handed fight. What do you guys think? I expected it to be a bit closer, but it wasn't really close at all. It was very much a one-sided fight. I think I gave the 5th round to McKenna though, because he seemed to show quite a bit of activity, but he just took too many punches, and Prograis is just too cute, really. Just landing much more cleanly and more heavy-handed punches. And it looks like that height advantage and reach advantage didn't really impact Prograis' ability to perform. So yeah, hats off to Prograis. Good performance there. Unlucky for McKenna. Although definitely a warrior because he didn't quit on his stool and had to take the medical examiner to stop him from fighting. So he came in for a war, and that's what he got. But unfortunately, the might of Prograis was too much for this one. Right. So while these fighters are still kind of exchanging good words, I might as well check what time the ring walk is, at least according to some of the British boxing news media, for the main fight, which is the Sonny Edwards Muhammad Wasim fight. Ah, so it looks like the suggestion is that the main event will be at 11:20 local time, right? So local time, I assume, means local time in Dubai. Let me check time in Dubai right now. 10:16. So then it looks like the main event will be in 1 hour, roughly. So to just come back to your comment, Adil, it looks like the main fight, I think, will be in 1 hour's time. Mustafa, hello, my friend, asking any way to watch live online. So we unfortunately can't provide live stream links because they are well, obviously obviously illegal, and also YouTube will probably take us down, and the head honcho at this fine establishment of a YouTube channel will impale me if I reveal some sort of dodgy link on here. So I'm gonna respect his house rules and not share a link. But the way I'm watching it, Mustafa, is live through Eurosport 2 through Sky Go if you're in the UK, and then I understand if you're in Pakistan, for example. Not sure if you are, but if you are in Pakistan, then I think Adil kindly suggested that if anybody's watching this fight in Pakistan, it's on PTV Sports and Sports HD, ATV Sports HD, quite a few other different places as well. If you're looking for streams, I'm sure there's a way to find them. It's just we're not going to be able to provide them to you, and obviously can't be endorsing illegal activities on a public stream. But yeah, it looks like the main fight's going to be in the next hour, folks. You know, throw over your predictions. It'd be interesting to know what you think and how you think the fight's going to end up being. Um, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. We really appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, let's see what the next fight is. That was quite an interesting one, the Prograis McKenna one. I thought it was going to be a close fight, but it was very much one-sided. But let's see if there's any other fights that are coming up, which hopefully will be slightly more competitive. I mean, personally, I like seeing competitive fights. It's just slightly more enjoyable, but one-sided fights are interesting too because it allows you to realize who's really good um, in the boxing scene and who else they should fight. So yeah, let's see. So again, the thing about BoxRec, for example, is you've got a bunch of you've got an explanation as to who's going to be fighting on the night, but then it's not an order of the fighters, which isn't ideal. So I think we saw the McGrail fight, then we saw the Prograis fight, but they're completely far away from each other on this list, which isn't ideal. So interestingly, there are interestingly / weirdly, on the British. Oh, sorry. Let me say. Hey, Jagger. So neither have won because the fight is yet to happen. Yeah, that's correct. The fight is yet to happen. So the fight that just happened right now that we watched, that I was commentating on, was Prograis v McKenna, and Prograis won that fight by I guess medical medical stoppage, but it's like basically like a TKO. So yeah, the main fight, the Edwards fight, against Muhammad Wasim has not happened yet. According to some of the media channels, in terms of like the news media relating to the boxing fight, they seem to suggest it's going to be in 1 hour's time. But then again, those media channels, weirdly enough, they seem to be also stating that the fight before the main fight is the Prograis McKenna fight, which has just happened. So I don't know how or why you would have the penultimate fight before the main fight an entire hour before the main fight. I'm assuming that's not the case. If it is, then we might have to wait another 20, 30 minutes before we actually watch any fights, and it might be the case that the next fight is the main fight. But you know what it's like. There's hardly ever a proper like schedule to look at in boxing. Sometimes it'd be nice if. Do you guys know any good schedules where you actually can figure out when fights will happen and in what order they will happen? Because it seems like there's a really poor showing of those details. I think a prime example of why that is the case, or a prime example of how that is the case, is because whenever we do boxing streams, people are always asking what time the fight is, and I don't know, because it's never clear, basically, and you guys probably don't know because it isn't clear either. So, can someone please come up with a with a website that has better details regarding fights and the order in which the fights will happen and when they'll actually happen? I have a feeling that even the people that are hosting fights may not even know because of how unpredictable it is in terms of how long a certain fight will take and so on. So not entirely sure. Is the short answer, but supposedly it's supposed to be the next fight. Yet it's supposed to happen in 1 hour's time. So it doesn't sound very helpful. And that's according to British Boxing News. So I'm not entirely sure whether they've got an updated schedule or not. I might just type another look for another website. Just type in Edwards versus Wasim and see what else they say. I mean, let's see what DAZN says. That's helpful. So DAZN says main event ring walks approximately 5 p.m. GMT. But then that doesn't make sense because it's 6:23 GMT UK time. So that's not ideal. So I mean GMT time now is 6:23. So them saying 5 p.m. doesn't make sense. I'm basically firing shots at everyone now. But you know, they say main event ring walks. So that suggests there's several main events. So they don't seem to clarify basically how many main events they've taken into account when they're saying that that's when the main event will happen. So yeah, it's not really helpful, is it? Yeah, there's just some adverts now on my stream, so there's nothing going on right now, guys. And if there is another undercard fight, then we'll go through that before we get to the main fight. So let me see if there's any other good websites or sources to figure out what the actual schedule is while the adverts roll through. I mean, do you guys have any predictions as to how this fight's going to go? Who do you think is going to win? Just let us know. Be interesting to know what your predictions are. It's always fun to do predictions before the fight and then to see who is closest. Let's see what another website says about the schedule for the fight. Fight time. It says ring walks for the main event are expected around 10 p.m. UK time. That's in 4 hours. So you got one website. This is just stupid, isn't it, really, guys? So you got one website which says that the main event is going to happen in 1 hour, and then you've got another website that suggests it's going to happen at 10 p.m., which is in 4 hours. So that doesn't make any sense. And then you've got another website which says that the main event ring walks will happen at 5 p.m. GMT. So that doesn't make any bloody sense. So Adil, you're saying what's BBC saying? Yes, it's a good point actually. To be honest, BBC is an authority on this stuff. So let's see if BBC is going to have an appropriate schedule. So let's see what BBC says. Type in Edwards. That's weird. It just says on BBC. Honestly, it says Sonny Edwards, Mohammed Wasim, 4 p.m. It says 4 p.m. on BBC, and it says Prograis versus Tyrone McKenna, 3 p.m. Does that make any sense? 4 p.m. is 6:26 UK time right now. That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I have absolutely no idea. That doesn't make any sense. Maybe they mean UAE time, but UAE time doesn't make any sense either because the UAE time right now, which is where the fight's happening, is 10:26 p.m. So I think basically, guys, my suspicion is that the next fight is probably the main fight. Although that being said, you know what, guys? Like, the stadium looks pretty empty. You know when usually for a main fight, stadiums look way more filled up. Like, they're showing the stadium right now, and the stadium looks pretty empty. That might be because people have gone during the break. Oh, there you go. Coming up, main event, right? It says Edwards versus Wasim. Okay, that's helpful. On the stream that I'm watching, but then like they don't explain whether coming up means it's the actual next fight or whether it's happening at some point later on. Let's assume that it's the next fight, guys. If it's 10:26 in the UAE, I assume it's 10:26 in the UAE right now. Then why would you have a fight at midnight? It wouldn't make any sense. So I assume the main fight should be now. So we'll figure it out. But yeah, Adil, thanks for suggesting BBC. BBC was not helpful though. So yeah, I mean, it looks like there's a real gap in the market for actually getting a proper boxing fight times in place. If anyone's interested in setting up that business, let Quality Shot know. I think we should branch out to Quality Shot venture capital investments and basically fund someone that's willing to actually provide accurate boxing schedule times. Maybe that would be a good investment. Adil's saying 10 Sports HD is another channel which might show it in Pakistan, but right now football is on. Peterborough FA Cup Sports is showing cricket highlights. Do they show football in Pakistan then, Adil? Is it? I wouldn't imagine it's super popular, no? Because obviously people, I mean, main sport in Pakistan must be cricket, right? But are people starting to watch football? I mean, I'm committing the cardinal sin talking about another sport while streaming some other sport, but given that we have no clue when the main fight is going to happen, although assumedly assumedly soon. Sorry, my headphones turned off automatically, so I just turned it back on again. Even though we don't know when the main fight is going to happen, might as well chat about football in the meantime. Fendi, hey, good to see you again. Got Edwards via decision. Okay. I think. I mean, from looking at the stats, it looks like Edwards is in a much better position in the flyweight division compared to Wasim. But I mean, it'll be so interesting to see how Wasim does because I mean, this is a massive fight for him to take on. And imagine if he does win it, he will genuinely shoot up into boxing stardom in that division. It will open up so many opportunities for him. But yeah, and there is a bit of a timing as well because I think he's from looking at BoxRec, Mohammed Wasim is 34 years old, which is actually I know that athletes are getting better as they age, in their ability to perform at older ages. But 34 is pretty old in my opinion, and maybe kind of like might be close to peak or post peak. I know people peak at different times, but that's pretty old, generally speaking, for average boxing age. For those in their prime. Wouldn't you agree? Whereas Edwards is 26, much younger. He's ranked first out of all UK flyweights. Um, he just seems to be like the he just seems to be the right guy right now, in the flyweight division. So I mean, I'm pretty sure that this fight is heavily in his favor, just looking at the statistics alone, for example. Um, so I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But yeah, I mean, he is BoxRec's number one for the flyweight division. So they are fighting for the belt that he's holding, which is the IBF World Flyweight or Fly title. So I'm gonna expect that he's gonna win this. Adil says like a coverage of boxing is about to start now. You're absolutely right. And let's see. Just gonna check my stream. Oh, snap. It is the main fight. I think it's the main fight that's about to start. Oh, excellent. Okay, guys. I'm pretty sure that's the main fight that's about to start. I mean, I think I just saw Muhammad Wasim go into the ring. So yeah, guys. Oh, okay, finally, the main fight is happening now. So for those of you who asked when's the main fight happening, it's happening now. Is the answer. So I'm gonna look through the comments and then yeah, we're gonna get into the fight. Wow, this is exciting. I thought I had to wait another hour, but it looks like the Edwards Wasim fight is about to happen within the next few minutes, because it looks like Edwards is actually coming into the ring. I'm about to make his walk in. So I'm gonna rattle through these comments. I think if Wasim wins, says Fendi, he will be a star. I agree. But I think Edwards is boxing and timing, and Edwards is young, so he's still learning. Whereas Wasim is 34. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Which in my opinion is too old for 13 fights. I agree. I think the future is Edwards, to be honest. If Wasim does win this, it'd be fantastic for his career. But I mean, the guy is in his 30s, late, kind of like mid-ish 30s, which is, you know, probably not prime. And if he does win, then it'd be fantastic for him. But how long is he going to be able to hold that position for? Whereas Edwards is still young and up, and kind of not even up and coming. He's solidified his position in this division. But he's young and he's kind of like the future of the division in some respects. I mean, he'll probably go up maybe in weight at some point. But he's basically got many years ahead of him, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, Fendi saying 17-0 Edwards. Adil saying Wasim on points decision. Interesting. Okay, Adil, why do you think that? I'm going through the statistics now. 17 fights versus 13 fights. This is Edwards Wasim. 17-1 versus 12-1. 4 KOs versus 8 KOs. Also more KOs on Wasim's part. And then obviously Edwards is undefeated and Wasim's lost 1 fight. So that's just the general statistics for this IBF World Flyweight title fight. Yeah, I'm looking forward to commentating this one. And it's pretty cool that it's already coming. I expected the fight to come at 8 p.m. UK time, so it's really nice to have a fight at 6:35 UK time. I think there should be more fights in Dubai for that reason. Fendi saying, yeah, it's main event 12 rounds. Yeah, so both the fighters in the center of the ring now squaring each other up. It's a slightly quiet crowd, to be honest. I mean, I expected more in the crowd. That's why I thought I was a bit confused because I thought, why isn't there more people in the crowd? Maybe this means that's going to be a few more fights until the main fight. But it looks like we're at the main fight. Looks like they didn't really sell out full stadium. Maybe there's some reasons for that. I'm not sure. Both fighters really eyeing each other up right now. The fight hasn't started yet, but they're yeah, it's getting tense in there. I'm just gonna go to BoxRec real quick, share some statistics before this fight starts. So obviously I've discussed the fighting records. Sonny Edwards is 5'3", hails out of Croydon, represent hometown. Um, Wasim is 5'6", so just slightly taller, I guess. There ain't too much between them. Otherwise, I'm assuming they're both. I'm gonna assume they're both orthodox. But we'll see from their fight style to remind me. So yeah, I mean, maybe one thing to note is the fact that Wasim has a 61% knockout ratio, but his competitors, I think, are probably of a worse quality if you had to compare them against the competitors that Edwards has faced. Edwards obviously has the belt, and he's obviously the favorite, I would imagine, according to the bookies. But it's going to be an interesting fight, and it's a very proud moment for people who love boxing and are from Pakistan, I imagine, because yeah, you don't often get a fighter that's hailing out of Pakistan um, and is able to take a world title fight. So this will be interesting. Fendi, yeah, and it's a 12 round fight that is correct. Yes, it is a 12 round fight. Just check to confirm that. Okay, well, Ed was just getting his robe off, looking very confident in there. Both fighters in the center of the ring. Referee doing the usual, protect yourself at all times chat. Well, this will be an interesting one, all right, folks. Muhammad Wasim versus Sonny Edwards for the IBF World Flyweight title that's held by Edwards. Will it be will it be the first Pakistani world champion? Let's see. All right, fight's underway. Edwards with a jab. Edwards just kind of calmly circling Wasim around the ring. Wasim just taking the center of the ring and just following Edwards as he circles him. Not much activity right now. Wasim trying to go to the body. Edwards just closing up. Again, just a lot of ooh, Edwards trying to storm Wasim and throw a bunch of punches at him, but Wasim doing a very good job just evading it all, kind of making Edwards look a bit careless, to be honest. Very, very kind of fast-paced bursts of energy between the two fighters, followed by a lot of kind of waiting and watching. Not very much activity right now, as Wasim just, again, maintains the center of the ring whilst Edwards circles him. Edwards with a quick right, followed by a double right jab. Wasim being warned about elbowing. And yeah, Wasim starting to come forward a bit more now. A lot of feinting right now. Not very much activity with 1 minute 20 left. Wasim trying to go to the body, but Edwards just stepping out of range. Again, not very much activity, just a lot of feinting right now. Not sure who I'm going to give this round to because I'm really don't want to be undecided about leaning on certain people for rounds. This is a very low energy first round, to be honest. 50 seconds left of this first round. And again, just Edwards circling Wasim taking the center of the ring, and both the fighters doing a significant amount of feinting. Ooh, Wasim trying to make a quick move. Edwards with an overhand right. And Edwards smiling at the fact that he probably caught Wasim. I think I'm probably giving this to Edwards, to be honest, just because of that one flurry. Had a very nice, um, very punchy um, left jab by Edwards. Wasim trying to come in with combination, so on. Wow, oh my God, Edwards with a showboat already in the first round, putting his hands on his hips and kind of pushing his head forwards. Kind of reminds me of kind of like Nassim Hamadish, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, end of that first round. Yeah, I'm giving that to Edwards. He just had the better of the exchanges. I mean, there isn't too much between the two, I don't think, but I'm giving that to Edwards. So I got Edwards up by one. I think the reason for that is because I think he just had the better of the exchanges. He managed to land flush at points, and he seemed the quicker of the two. And that's it, really. Otherwise, I don't think he's caused much damage to Wasim. It's just that Wasim, whenever he's decided to go and throw, Edwards has managed to usually meet him with a appropriate counter and make him look slightly silly in that first round, or at least slightly slow. It just looks like Edwards is a bit quicker. Fenny saying so far 10-9 Edwards. To be honest, yeah, I agree. I'm probably giving that 10-9 to Edwards. Second round is underway. So Edwards much more active now, coming forward with a 1-2. Nice jab. Oh, but he's met with a jab from Wasim. Edwards again with a jab. Wasim trying a hook, but Edwards managing to get out of range. Oh, Edwards just catching Wasim again. I just think Edwards is actually beating Wasim to the punch, in my view. He's just a bit quicker. And yeah, Edwards doing a decent job, just kind of circling around Wasim, then coming forward, throwing that uppercut. He just looks much quicker out there, Edwards, to be honest. Wasim doing quite a bit of feinting, trying to see if he can get closer to Edwards. Edwards popping a jab back. Wasim trying to come forward, pushing Edwards against the ropes, landing quite a strong body shot. But Edwards looks relatively unfazed, coming back with his own. Both fighters back into the center. Edwards with a kind of leaping left hand. See him getting slightly frustrated, maybe with a referee trying to break the fighters up or something like that. He just doesn't look particularly as relaxed as Edwards will seem. Edwards just kind of popping a right hand that lands. He just looks quicker, guys. Or another right hand by Edwards. That speed, his speed is really, yeah, really good. I think the only thing I can really say is speed. It just seems to be the defining factor between these two. Again, the referee warning Wasim about elbows. 30 seconds left for this second round. And, well, both fighters just clinching. Referee steps in, 20 seconds left. Oh, Edwards with another quick right. Wasim smiling at him. Edwards with an uppercut through Wasim's guard. Edwards trying to throw overhand left, but missed. Wasim clinching Edwards and trying to throw some shots to the body. Again, clinching. Referee stepping in. Wasim getting quite frustrated. Wasim landing a pretty decent body shot, and that's the end of the second round. I'm giving that to Edwards again. I just think Edwards has been quicker off the mark, and he's beating Wasim on speed. That's just my personal view. What do you guys think? How did you score that second round? I've got Edwards up by 2, and I just think it's speed. And I've probably said speed about 50 times, but that is the main kind of thing that I'm seeing here in this fight so far. He just seems quicker off the mark compared to Wasim. He just has a really good ability, Edwards, I think, of just throwing after a combination at the point where maybe Wasim's thinking that Edwards is done with his combination. But Edwards has a good way of just quickly kind of throwing off the hip. You kind of don't expect the punches to come after a combo that he throws, for example, but then one or two pop off quite quickly, and Wasim seems to be getting caught by them. We're in the third round now. Edwards just kind of with an uppercut, trying to overhand right, doesn't work. Wasim coming forwards. Edwards trying to throw it, but Wasim staying out of range. Referee stepping in because of a clinch. Another clinch by Wasim, and referee again blaming warning Wasim. Wasim's got about 3 warnings for different things so far. We're only in the third round. Edwards missing some of his combos and kind of trying to escape the corner of the ring. And wow, he's been warned again. Wasim. This is the 4th time he's been warned. I think for a head, I don't know what, head clash or something. It looks like there's blood coming down the left eye or around the left eye of Wasim. Can't tell whether that was a head clash or a punch, to be honest. These fighters have been getting quite close in terms of their proximity when Wasim's been trying to fight on the inside, and the referee getting annoyed with both fighters and telling them off. Probably because of, I don't know, how awkward they've been with the clinches and kind of heads clashing. But regardless of how that was caused, yeah, there's blood coming down the left eye area of Wasim. Doesn't look good. 1 minute left of this third round. Wasim with a left, Edwards with a relatively wild left, but still again, like now Edwards is getting told off by the ref. Wasim is going to town on Edwards. Edwards against the ropes. Wasim is really unleashing a bunch of punches, but I think a lot of them have been ineffective. I think Edwards has just done a really good job of blocking them with his gloves, and Edwards doing a decent job of trying to fight off the ropes himself. But not a particularly good look for Edwards. But he manages to break off the ropes. Oh, nice uppercut by Edwards. Wasim is not looking that great, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I just think Edwards is coming across much sharper, and a nice left hook by Edwards. Wasim trying to come forward. Okay, end of the third round. Yeah, I mean, that's a 10-9 round to Edwards, in my opinion. I just think he's just been much quicker off the mark, and you know, Wasim was trying to back Edwards into the ropes, but and he did have some success, but I think Edwards was much better coming back with his own, and he seemed quite confident and comfortable fighting off the ropes. So yeah, the slow mo that's being shown right now, and hey, I'm watching it currently on Sky Go Eurosport 2. That's where I'm watching it. Yeah, so I mean, Wasim had some success getting Edwards against the ropes, and to be fair, he did land quite a lot of punches, but I think Edwards then came back with quite a few good ones of his own, so that's why I decided to edge towards Edwards. It was a closer round than the other round, so maybe some people would have given that third round to Wasim. Fourth round's underway. Wasim just trying to follow Edwards. Um, Trying to get him against the ropes again. Given how successful it was last time, he's probably thinking, "Let me try and do that again. Let's try and cut off the ring and get this guy against the ropes and try and go to town." Edwards trying to clinch. Wasim appealing to the ref. Referee breaking up two fighters and having a go at Edwards. The referee's been very busy in this fight. He's told the fighters off collectively at least 7 times, I imagine. Oh my god, it's wild. It's wild. Wasim thrown quite wildly. Um, Edwards with a left that misses. Wasim trying to stalk both fighters on the clinch again. Wasim holding Edwards' elbow down while going in with some left hooks. I think this is slightly this is awkward to say the least. Slightly awkward fight. 1 minute 30 left of this fourth round. Yeah, I mean both fighters just clinching again, and Edward Wasim punching Edwards while Edwards was trying to turn away. It's yeah, it's a pretty messy fight to be watching right now, and I have no idea what's going on. I don't know if Wasim's trying to um I mean it's exciting, but it's very it's very messy. Edwards with an overhand right, with a left jab thrown. Wasim again coming forward. Nice shot to the body, to be honest. Edwards trying to clinch. Wasim pushing Edwards out of the way. I think Wasim is looking very frustrated that he probably isn't able to connect in a as flush as he wants to. Um, keeps getting into a clinch. Edwards with a hook to the body of Wasim. Wasim's continuing to come forward though, and is smothering Edwards in many respects, and being met with again more clinching by Edwards. Wasim trying to break out of the clinch and continue working. I mean this is such a messy round. It's a bit difficult to score it, to be honest. I mean, that was a really weird round. I don't know. I don't even know how to score that one, to be honest. How do you score that fourth round, guys? Um, it was a messy one. I don't even know. You know what? I'm gonna just give it to Wasim. You know what? I actually don't think Wasim deserved that round. I'm gonna give it to Edwards. I've got Edwards up by 4. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what the judges' scorecards are. I assume this fight is gonna go the full distance, because I don't think either of them. Yeah, I don't think either of them have the power to knock each other out or to go for a TKO. So I think this is going to be a points one. I suspect Edwards is going to win on points so far as we enter the next round. Um, let's see. This is the fifth round. So yeah, let's see how this goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. So fifth round underway. Ed was doing a good job, just kind of tracing back and landing some punches as Wasim tries to come forward. Ed was with a clinch. There's been a lot of clinching in this fight. It's been such a messy fight. It just it, it looks very awkward. It's a very awkward fight to watch. To be honest, guys. So 2 minutes left for this fifth round. I think Ed was trying to do a bit of showboating because he managed to get out of the way of one of Wasim's punches, but it just looks a bit odd, given how many clinches there are. I mean, I don't know if showboating is needed. Just looks a bit strange in this context. Edwards is against the ropes right now. Wasim actually going to town on Edwards, and he is landing. He's keeping his head low and managing to throw quite a few punches there. But oh wow, Edwards with a really nice left that's thrown from the hip, and it's those punches like that, to be honest, that allow him to showcase his speed. Edwards again with some showboating there because we're seeing missing with some of his punches. So I mean, Edwards is looking pretty comfortable in there. I mean, I think Wasim is probably having the most success when he gets Edwards against the ring, against the ropes. And he's landed a pretty good body shot and an uppercut, and Wasim is still throwing. Edwards still against the ropes. Edwards obviously trying to be as comfortable as he can, throwing his own punches against the from the ropes, trying to counter and so on. But I think Wasim's had some pretty decent success. 30 seconds left of this fifth round. Hey Asjad, I've got Edwards up by four rounds. So I believe Edwards is winning personally. But you know what? I might just give that round to Wasim that's about to pass in the next 15 seconds, unless Edwards comes up with something. Because I think Edwards hasn't had a particularly good round this round. No worries, mate. Yeah, that's a pretty good round for Wasim, in my opinion. I think he did all right. So yeah, it's a 10-9 round for Wasim, in my opinion. Make it a bit interesting, hey guys. So I've got Edwards up by 4 as we enter the sixth round. It's a 12-round fight, so it's gonna be a while. You know, we're halfway through. Let's see how the fight progresses. I think for the most part, Edwards has done a very good job. Just beating Wasim to the punch, but Wasim seems to be getting slightly more into his groove. He seems to be doing a better job of cutting off the ring, and I think he's realized he feels way more confident getting Edwards against the ropes and then just trying to go to town. And I don't think Edwards is particularly enjoying that. So let's see if Wasim employs the same strategy as we enter into this sixth round. Let's see if he's actually going to back Edwards against the ropes again. Edwards just throwing from the hip, managed to break through the guard of Wasim. Edwards with a wild left that misses. See him trying to jab his way. Yeah, so we see him just trying to jab his way through. Edwards managed to break away. Yeah, both fights just clinching. Again, it's been a super awkward fight to watch, to be honest. I mean, it's been entertaining at points. It's been quite energetic, but I mean, the amount of clinches and the amount of times the referees told these fights off kind of takes away the some of the entertainment of it, if I'm honest. Less than 2 minutes of this sixth round. Adil asking whether the warnings for Wasim dock points. No, they don't dock points unless the referee decides to actually dock a point. Adil. So yeah, my understanding is that there are no points being docked so far, and I don't think I heard anything about points being docked. Usually the referee would raise his hand and have like the number one. Oh, he's. I just as you said it, he's docked a point. Yeah, so the referee is docked a point for for Wasim just now. So yes, as I was saying, you'll know that they've docked a point because they'll basically put a finger up to the different corners of the ring to indicate that someone's been docked a point. So Wasim, I believe, has been docked a point in this 6th round. Not ideal for him. I think Wasim's going to try and go for a knockout. I mean, I think he probably realizes he's probably not going to win this fight on points. He's just been docked a point. I think Edwards has had the better of the 2 exchanges. So I think Wasim's going to probably try and go in for the kill to the extent they can. And he's got Edwards against the ropes. He's had lots of success getting Edwards against the ropes. So let's see what happens. Oh, very nice short left hook by Wasim. Oh, another nice bunch of hooks thrown by Wasim as well. I think he's doing better. Wasim. But Edwards slipping in a nice uppercut in return. It's that little work that he's doing as well in return. And you realize that even though on the face of it, maybe it looks like Wasim is smothering Edwards and dominating him, but the reality is that Edwards is doing a pretty good job. Edwards was kind of like a pot shot after the referee broke the 2 fighters up. Oh my god, there's a lot of bad blood between these 2 fighters. The referee breaking the 2 fighters up after the end of that 6th round, and Edwards having quite a terse exchange with Wasim. You know, I was going to give that round to Wasim because of the activity, to be honest. He just does a better job when he gets Edwards against the rope. So I'm going to try and make it more interesting from a judging point of view, because so far I'm pretty sure Edwards is winning this fight on points. I'm going to say it's a 9-10 in favor of 10-9 in favor of Wasim, and then because he was docked a point though, in reality it's still Edwards up by 4 because it gets neutralized by the point that was taken away. So I'm going to suspect the judges are probably giving this round to Edwards, but I'm going to give it to Wasim on the basis of his ability to do a decent job aggressing. I feel like the referee's been really annoyed with Wasim throughout the whole fight. Not to say that the referee's like biased, I don't think he is, but he just seems particularly annoyed with Wasim throughout the fight because I don't have my sound on. I don't know whether it's because of elbows or clinching or headbutts or whatever, or a combination of all those things. But yeah, 7th round is underway. I think, in my opinion, Wasim has 5 rounds to try and change this fight over. Again, a warning from the ref to Wasim. It is slightly embarrassing, I find, if you're getting warned a lot by the referee, because it suggests that you're not, I don't know, you're not being, I don't know, properly technical. I don't know, something like that. It just doesn't look right if you get warned that many times, and probably has a psychological impact on the judges as well, to be fair. Oh, bit of smothering from yeah, I saw that though. Bit of smothering from Wasim onto Edwards, kind of trying to put his arm under Edwards' neck. So that I'm sure you can't do. But yeah, I agree. I agree. I think there must be Euphazon saying, "Don't understand. You're allowed to clinch. What's the issue?" Yeah, I agree. And I think it seems like he's been warned about clinching, which is weird because yeah, you are allowed to clinch. I'd be very surprised if you got docked the points because of a clinch, because that's strange. Oh my god, what is this now? Wait, another point docked for use of head. Wow, I'm sorry, yeah, but like, this is ridiculous. Wasim being docked another point. I mean, there's no way Wasim's going to win this fight unless he knocks Edwards out. So he might as well be as dirty as he wants. That's my personal advice. If Wasim wants to win this fight, you might as well be as dirty as you want. I think Wasim's going to really complain about the ref after this fight because he's been docked 2 points now. And so now I think he's going hell for leather, and you can tell because he's literally pushing Edwards into the ropes and just trying to go crazy. Um, and Edwards clinching and then punching on the clinch. That's not fair. But he's not going to be docked a point by the ref, which is strange. So Hassan, I'm watching this fight on Sky Go through Eurosport 2. Flores D, thanks for your comment. Edwards is schooling him. Yeah, I think Edwards is winning on points, definitely. I think I do think, however, that these points deductions for Wasim, I don't know, are they justified? Can't really tell. But yeah, I mean, it's not looking good for Wasim at all. I think Wasim is super frustrated. That's the end of that um, 7th round, I believe that was. So I'm going to give that round to Edwards because I think he managed to do a pretty decent job with the counters. I think Wasim had a lot of success getting Edwards against the ropes and trying to unleash, but he's been docked a point as well, so it's really not ideal for him. I've got Edwards up by 6 now. I mean, Edwards has won this fight so long as he just doesn't get knocked out, in my opinion. When you get docked a point, it's horrible. It's the same as getting knocked down, isn't it? Really. So he's at a significant disadvantage, Wasim, right now. I don't know what Wasim can do to win this fight. We're in the 8th round now. I think Wasim needs a knockout, and I assume his corner is going to be telling him you need a knockout. So 8th round is underway. I want to see a war now because Wasim is not going to win this fight on points. He's not. Ooh, nice right thrown by Edwards. I mean, who knows? Was a knockout going to come the other way instead? Edwards bouncing around the canvas, looking active. Edwards with a left that misses. Wasim with his arms in a clinch, managing to break out. Wasim needs to get Edwards against the ropes and just go in. Both fighters just missing. Wasim with a shot to the body and trying to go upstairs afterwards. Both those punches missing. Edwards just much quicker to the punch still. Wasim seems to be slowing slightly in this 8th round. Looks like the cutman's done a good job on Wasim's eye though. He's not bleeding anymore. Um, 1 minute 30 left of this 8th round. Quality shot saying Wasim needs to smash the body. His body shots have been good. Should have invested into it more. Break down the body of a mover is rule number 1. Hey Johnny, I'm watching it on Sky Go Eurosport 2. Less than 1 minute of this 8th round. So I'm just gonna. There you go. Yeah, less than 1 minute of this 8th round. I think. Oh no, we're seeing with his head popping out of the ring, and yeah, being met by a fist from Edwards' fist as he made his way back out. I mean, there's a lot of activity going on right now, guys. There's punches in bunches, and it's just an incredibly messy fight to be watching, to be perfectly honest. But through all of it, it looks like Edwards is getting the better of the exchanges. I mean, Wasim's managed to corner Edwards against the ropes right now, 10 seconds left. But I think it's a little too late for this round, and I think this is a round that's going to Edwards, who's just had the much better of the 2 exchanges. Wasim just looks incredibly frustrated with the referee, who obviously has docked him 2 points by this point. Yeah, I think it's a 10-9 to Edwards. I think Edwards is going to get a very generous points decision. So I've got Edwards up by 7 on my card, which is a very, very generous amount of points. Jag asking, what round are we on? So I believe the 8th round just ended. I believe we're moving on to the 9th round. Usman asking who is up now by points. My personal view is that Edwards is up quite significantly. I've got him up by at least 7. Wasim was docked 2 points at different parts of this fight so far by the ref. So, it's like he's been knocked down twice, from purely a points perspective. Ends up becoming well, not really, because if you get knocked down, it's a 10-8, so maybe not. But it's something similar to that at least. Getting docked a point is not good, is what I'm trying to say. If you get docked a point and Edwards also wins the round, it's a 10-8 round, isn't it? So that's like getting knocked down is the point I was trying to make. Ninth round is underway. Fighters fainting a bit. Edwards trying a combination, managing to connect. I think Wasim probably appreciates the urgency in this 9th round. He is trying to come forward and cut the ring, but my God, he's getting caught while coming in. Both fighters again on the clinch. I mean, this has been a significant feature of the whole fight. All these clinches and the headbutts and elbows, and it's been a very messy fight to keep up with. And both fighters have been very awkward. It's not been a really kind of pleasant fight to watch from um, from a flow point of view. There's been a lot of start stops and a lot of bursts of energy in this one, and hasn't really flown particularly well. 1 minute 30 of this 9th round. Usman's asking, what do you think? Last round, who's going to win? Honestly, my view so far, as we are in this 9th round, is that Edwards is going to win this fight on points. I mean, Wasim really needs to. I think he appreciates that there's an urgency for him to try and end this fight by way of KO or TKO, and I think he is rushing to try and do that. But I don't really know whether he is able to do it. He knows what he needs to do, but is he really able to do it? Because Edwards is still very sharp. He seems to have dealt with the aggression of Wasim. So you know, I think unfortunately for Wasim, he is getting slightly outpunched and outworked in many respects. So that being said, he's got him against the ropes now, Wasim. Let's see if you can do anything impactful in this last 20 seconds. He seems to always have him against the ropes in the last 20 or 30 seconds, which is a little too late, I always find. Edwards with a stiff left, followed by a right hook. Thanks for the donation, F. And that's the end of that 9th round. I mean, I'm just gonna give it to Edwards again. I think there's a lot of work rate coming out of Wasim, but unfortunately, it's not effective. In my personal opinion, it's not being as effective. The kind of scoring shots, if you will, the more eye-catching shots, if you will, the quicker shots, they're all coming from Edwards. And I think Wasim is trying to put pressure on Edwards. He is coming across as the aggressor, but I mean, my personal opinion is that he's getting slightly outclassed in this fight, and I've got Edwards up by 8 now. So I'll be very interested to see the scorecards and see whether the judges agree, because I'm pretty sure this fight will go all the way into the 12th round. But it'll be very interesting to see if the judges agree with what I'm analyzing here, and if they also think that the fight is going to be as wide as I'm predicting in Edwards' favor. Right, then the 10th round is underway, folks. So we've got 10, 11, 12. We've got 3 rounds left. And yeah, we'll see him again just coming forward. He appreciates the urgency. Let's see what he can do. He's landing a decent body shot. Edwards just backtracking. We'll see him with a nice shot to the body. Edwards coming back with something of his own. We'll see him clinching. Referee breaking up the 2 fighters. And Yeah, again, both the fighters finding themselves in a clinch. Wasim managing to break out, landing a body shot in the process. Slightly better from Wasim, but then again, a bit of a kind of pot shot coming from Edwards on the other side, and Wasim's getting caught with a lot of those. And guys, yeah, sorry, do remember to like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Less than 2 minutes of this 10th round. Again, both fighters are clinching. Not sure how entertaining this has been for viewers. Um, um, yeah, I think looking at the crowd's faces, they don't seem I don't know, they don't seem particularly as into it. I'm kind of making a judgment here though. Oh, a decent body shot from Wasim. Edwards trying to come back with something of his own. 1 minute 20 left. So far, might be giving this round to Wasim. But yeah, again, Edwards doing a good job of just slipping out of the way. More clinching. See him trying to stalk Edwards, but Edwards just very cute, just double jab, and then getting out of the way. It's just popping and getting out of the way. That's what Edwards is doing. See him really just having issues trying to connect. I think he's quite frustrated. He is, determined. He's coming forward. He's trying, but Edwards is just proving just a bit too elusive for him. 20 seconds left of this 10th round. And 10 seconds left. I think I might give this one to Wasim simply based on work rate. Unless he gets docked a point from the ref. And I think that was a better round for Wasim, if I'm perfectly honest. So I'm going to give that round to Wasim. So 10th round is over, guys. I think that's a Wasim round. So I've got Edwards up by 7, which is still a very comfortable margin from a points perspective. How are you guys seeing it right now? I it is very interesting to see how many points he's been docked though. I mean 2 points. That's a lot of it's a decent amount of point stocking and a significant amount of warnings as well. Is what it is. So yeah, I mean I gave that round to Wasim. 2 rounds left. So yeah, according to my predictions, Wasim needs a knockout. He's not winning this fight. It's been an interesting fight. It's been competitive at points, but I think Edwards has done a pretty decent job of dominating a lot of the exchanges and just coming across much sharper. 11th round is underway. And it's just basically what Wasim is just, again, trying to come forward. Wasim with a left jab. Wasim trying to 1-2, but misses quite wildly. Edwards just doing a good job bouncing around, staying out of range. Very good reactive skills there by Edwards. Both fighters again clinching. Wasim trying to work. Wasim appealing to the referee. Referee telling Edwards off, but no points docked. And 1 minute 40 left of this 11th round. Edwards with a nice overhand left, and then jumping out of harm's way. Wasim trying to cut the ring off. Edwards proving still elusive, managing to slip out of the way. Hey Ian, I've got personally, I've got Edwards up by 7. I think Edwards is definitely winning this fight. And we're in the 11th round with 1 minute 10 seconds left. Edwards trying to combo of his own, but just out of range there. Wasim still trying to come forward. You know, you can't help but rate the aggression that he's trying to exude in this fight. But you know, it needs to be effective aggression. He is getting caught while coming in quite a few times, and Edwards just doing a very good job of trying to prevent Wasim from cutting the ring off. And yeah, Wasim missing quite wildly there. Edwards managed to slip out of the way. It's smart boxing from Edwards, I have to admit. It's not particularly, it's not an entertaining exchange, but like it's smart. Um, he's boxed quite smart, Edwards. You know, he's done what he had to do. He's slipping, he's sliding. You know, he's been doing those pot shot type punches. He's been frustrating Wasim. He's had the better of the exchanges. Been quicker off the mark. Even has time to do a bit of showboating. He's just doing well. And that's the end of that 11th round. Again, it's an Edwards round. It's starting to get pretty bad from the points margin point of view, I think. So what have I got it as now? I've got Edwards up by 8, which is significant. And we're moving into the final round, guys. It's the 12th round. We got Pakhtun Village Secrets saying peak. And he says lol. Hassan's asking who's winning. Hassan, my friend, Edwards is winning in my opinion by quite a significant margin. I've got Edwards up by 8, and we're moving into the final round now. So I think personally, Edwards just needs to stay alive, and I'm sure he will. Wasim needs to go hell for leather, and I'm sure his corners told him, "Listen, you need to knock this guy out. You're not going to win." Now, yeah, 12th round underway. It's worth thinking, you know, how has Wasim performed? Will he be able to get other fights? Will people, you know, recognize his abilities here? He is fighting someone who is a champion. So it's not just any old person. You know, Edwards is a very, very good fighter in the flyweight division. Has Wasim done enough? Well, I think one thing to think about Wasim is that when he does try and get a fighter against the ropes, he does a pretty decent job of throwing combinations, and he can be quite vicious. But otherwise, he does seem to have been getting beat to the punch. Edwards is just much quicker, and Wasim needs a knockout. He's been docked 2 points already for elbows or clinching or whatever. He needs a knockout. He's not going to win this fight on points. 2 minutes left for Wasim to try and change the course of this fight. 2 minutes left to try and knock Edwards out. And Wasim, with Edwards against the ropes, decent amount of combinations being thrown. And so far, I'm going to give this round to Wasim, but it kind of doesn't matter because he's not going to win on points. 1 minute 40 left this 12th round. If I was Edwards, I'd just be tying up Wasim, boxing intelligently. Don't do anything risky. You don't want to lose all the progress that you've already made. You're ahead on points. Don't do anything stupid. Don't showboat. Just be as professional as you can. Don't take any risks. 1 minute 20 left of this final round. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please, guys. It helps the channel grow. Pakhtun Village saying this is sad, and Hassan saying really it's sad. I wish Wasim does something. Yeah, I mean, I think he's been unable. He seems willing, but the issue is that I don't think he has the ability to try and deliver a knockout. And there's 50 seconds left, and Edwards just been just a bit too cute. Yeah, I agree. Clinching is allowed, but he got docked some points for either clinching or elbowing or something ridiculous, and he got told off for clinching as well. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't know what the referees even. Referees have been pretty maybe biased. I don't know, but he's been telling Wasim off a lot. 20 seconds left this final round, and it's looking incredibly unlikely that Wasim's going to win this fight. Hashur asks who's winning. My view is that Edwards is winning quite significantly on points. And 10 seconds left. Wasim just struggling through, trying to throw the last power punch, and Edwards beckoning him in. And Wasim chasing Edwards around the ring. And that is the end of the fight. For some reason, Wasim decides to jump up on the Wasim decides to jump up and kind of celebrate as if he has won. And Edwards and his coach kind of laughing at that, thinking, "What the heck is this guy doing? He obviously hasn't won the fight." We'll see. Abdan says hi, sir. Hello. Abdan says, "Inshallah, Muhammad Wasim will win." My friend, I think Muhammad Wasim has lost this fight. I mean, it's not been. We haven't got the judges' scorecard yet, but my personal opinion is that he's lost this fight. Very great match. It was interesting. Yeah, interesting fight to watch. It's nice to see Pakistani fighters getting this coverage. I know you must be big in Pakistan, for example. Where are you from? I'm from London, my friend. Abdil Sagir says, sorry, Adil, of course, says, seems confident he's won. Yeah, I'm 100% not confident in that. I'm sure that. Okay, let me just tell you my final score, and then we'll see what the judges say. Okay, so guys, my final score was that Edwards won by. That Edwards is up by 9 rounds, and then he's won by at least 9 rounds. So going through round by round, Edwards won, in my opinion, the first round, the second round, the third round, the fourth round, the fifth round. I think I gave the sixth round to Wasim. I gave the seventh, eighth, ninth rounds to Edwards, the 10th round to Wasim, and then the 11th and 12th rounds to Edwards. So I gave a decent amount to Edwards. Abdan says, I want Wasim to win the fight. I understand. I think he probably hasn't. So yeah. This one says, thank you very much for your comment. Pakhtun seems a fellow Pakistani brother. Fair dues. No, fair dues. If he's your countryman, then it makes sense that you want him to win. Quality shot from F saying, "You look very upset." I'm not upset. I didn't really. It would have been interesting to see if Wasim would have managed to kind of win this fight, but I didn't really have a favorite for this fight. I was just interested to see who would win, and it's not because of my Pakistani background that I'm upset, even though Wasim is Pakistani. I'm just gonna listen into the judges' scorecards, guys. I'm okay. Score totals: 115, 111, 116, 110, 1115, 111. So yeah, Edwards winning. Much slimmer margins than I expected, to be honest. 4, 6, and 4. I had Edwards up by 9. So I mean, I'm obviously still a unanimous points decision, but yeah, I mean, I had him up by more, to be perfectly honest. So maybe the judges were being nicer. I don't know, but yeah, I really think Edwards won by a larger margin. So there you go. That's the result, which is that Edwards wins this fight by unanimous decision. 115, 111, 116, 110, 115, 111. The boy from Croydon has won. You know, for a lot of people in this chat, Wasim is your countryman, and you know Edwards is my townman. So my townman won from the ends. Hassan saying, "Are you Pakistani, bro?" Ethnically, yes. Thank you. Hashur, who's won. Edwards has won, my friend. Bro, what's your first choice before the fight? I thought Edwards was gonna win. So he has one as well. Adil says, would Wasim have won if those points weren't deducted? No, because Edwards won by a margin of 4, 6, and 4. So even if you take those 2 points out, then he still would have won unanimously. Although, good point, because the margins would have been even tighter. So I mean, I had it by a much larger margin than the judges personally. I think Edwards dominated the fight much better than the judges are suggesting, personally. So yeah, just to be clear, Edwards has won the fight by unanimous decision, points victory. Just listening to Edwards' interview, see if there's anything we can glean that I can share before we close out. Thanks very much for joining the stream, by the way. Appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Always helps. Edwards, Sonny Edwards calling Eddie Hearn out, saying you're the best promoter in the world. Please give me the fight that I want, which I think he said he wanted to fight Martinez. I think he said. That's what he said. And Wasim now just getting a interview. Let's see what Wasim says. He's just congratulating Sonny. There you go. He's saying the referee wasn't fair. I think that's true to some extent. Man, I mean, we're seeing with some pretty bad cuts on both eyes, to be honest. So, yeah, I mean, basically, I think Wasim is basically complaining about the referee docking points on headbutts. So yeah, who knows? I think it was potentially hey Sarkar. So fight's over. Edwards won by unanimous decision. Is what it is. You know, it'll be interesting to see Wasim's next fight. You know, he seemed to do much better on the judges' scorecard than I predicted, so that will look pretty good generally for his next fight, because people will be able to say that he had a close-ish fight on points against Edwards. But in my opinion, Edwards did much better than what the judges are suggesting. I had him up by 9. When you include the 2 points that were docked from Wasim. So, I mean, interesting fight to watch. Well done to Edwards. Edwards needs to obviously take on bigger and better fights. He needs to challenge for more belts, I guess. And let's see if he gets the fights that he wants and if Eddie Hearn will deliver. So, I guess thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Edwards has won this fight by unanimous decision. Very nice to have seen these fights in Dubai. It's cool that Dubai has been hosting these fighters. And yeah, thank you very much, everyone, and see you on the next stream. Peace out.